of this rivalry that had its inauguration in 1960. These two bitter old foes, original members of the American Football League. They meet today for the 80th time in a rivalry that is very close. Happy holidays, everybody. Welcome to the Bay Area. I'm Vern Lundquist along with Randy Cross. We get to see a bit of the old at quarterback for the Oakland Raiders today.
Well, the bit of the old is Wade Wilson, almost 40 years old, but he's done well when he's had to play for the Raiders. He's very steady, but look for the Raiders to do a little bit more of the down the field, old Raiders style vertical passing against this Kansas City defense. For the Kansas City Chiefs, it's Elvis Gerbach starting another game at the quarterback position for the Chiefs. And Elvis, very important for him. He's got to prove to Chiefs fans and Marty Schottenheimer that he can be their quarterback next year.
Neither the Chiefs nor the Raiders will be in the playoffs this year, but that is not expected to lessen the intensity that we will have in the Bay Area this afternoon. Back in a moment.
Seemed pretty good, especially for a first-year head coach this season. Why is it so important for this team to finish above 500?
Well, we have goals here like everybody else. This is a big game against an arch rival, and we've not had a lot of success against Kansas City recently. We want to change that today.
Good luck, Coach. Thanks. Back up to you, Vern.
All right, Michelle, thank you. Kansas City won the toss. They will receive, and they will do so under partly cloudy skies with a 55-degree temperature and a humidity of only 40%. Might get a little rain, but if it does rain, it will come in late this afternoon. Now 6-9 against the 8-7 Oakland Raiders. Here is Vanover at the 5. And he's dropped as he gets to the 26-yard line. The tackle made by Travian Smith. Elvis Gerbach back in the starting lineup. Started the season. Pulled after an injury and a losing streak. And his support staff up front will include at left tackle Jeff Criswell, Glenn Parker, Tim Grunhard, Will Shields bound for the Pro Bowl, and Victor Riley. Bam Morris and Kimball Anders in the backfield, Andre Rison and Derek Alexander, the wideouts, and Tony Gonzalez at tight end. Gonzalez tight to the right. Gerbach hands it off. Bam Morris spins and is dropped by Richard Harvey, number 52 in the silver and black. Defensively for the Oakland Raiders, a dramatic improvement this year. Up front, they start with James Harris, Russell Maryland, Darrell Russell, and Lance Johnstone. 21 sacks between the two. Wooden, Beekert, Richard Harvey are the linebackers. And in the secondary, Charles Woodson, Albert Lewis, the former Chief, Anthony Newman, and Marquise Walker. 2nd and 11. Power run to the right side. Bam Morris out to the 32-yard line. Richard Harvey with his second tackle in as many plays.
And Vern, one thing Marty Schottenheimer's offense is going to see out of this Oakland Raider defense is multiple looks from the defensive front. And Marty knows full well that defensive coordinator Willie Shaw of the Oakland Raiders is got to give him blitzes. He's going to give him various different little things from the outside of the defense, trying to attack and put pressure on Elvis Gerbach and create doubt in his mind.
Kimball Anders is the only running back. He gets the handoff. This one might come back. A flag thrown. Anders close for the first down. Anthony Newman, Richard Harvey. Here's Mike Carey. Now a matter of determining who was guilty of the hold.
Holding. Offense number 61. 10-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
That holding penalty on Tim Grunhard there, the center. He's going to be working on Grady Jackson. See that right hand come to the right and just yank him right straight over the umpire right there, right in front of him. When you're a center or a guard and you're inside, if you don't keep your hands inside, you are dead meat. That umpire's staring right at you.
3rd and 14. You see that stripe across the 36-yard line. The CBS first down. Blitz. Screen pass. Incomplete for Anders. Marquise Walker, number 38.
That's exactly what I was talking about, Vern. You know, the Raider defense knows they've got a quarterback in Elvis Gerbach that's less than confident right now. This guy's been yanked. He sat on the bench. The best thing to do in this situation is go after him, pressure him with the blitz. You've got the people downfield that are very good coverage people. Give him the blitz, create the doubt in his mind.
Desmond Howard with 2 punt returns for touchdowns this season. He waits for Louis Aguiar's first effort of the day, and this one wobbles a bit, taken by Howard at the 38. In trouble, escapes, and then is down at the 41-yard line. The tackle made by Bracy Walker. 40-yard punt, 4 on the return. Wade Wilson comes on for his third start as a Raider quarterback when we come back. Wade Wilson gets his third start in a Raider uniform. Of course, spent most of his career with the Minnesota Vikings, then stops in Atlanta, New Orleans, and the Dallas Cowboys. Now split backs on first down and 10. Harvey Williams to the left of Wade Wilson, and Wilson flips it out to Harvey Wilson. Williams in the flat. Greg Favors comes over to make the tackle at the 43-yard line. Well, Wade Wilson says pass protection critical this week, and the tight end Ricky Dudley. Second down and 8. That's Tim Brown in motion. Bit of a play fake for Wade Wilson. Goes deep. He's got a man open. Dudley, the tight end. And the catch made inside the Kansas City 40-yard line. Reggie Tongue with a tackle.
The matchup you have to watch all day long is going to be Mo Collins working against Derek Thomas. That was great protection. But look at Dudley working down the field. When you get that kind of protection and you get a zone defense, you can get this kind of time to throw the ball. And Wade Wilson took a little shot to the chops there.
18-yard gain and a first down inside the 40. This time a handoff to Harvey Williams. He comes left and is down at the 36-yard line. Well, Marty Schottenheimer said the biggest problems his team has encountered have been on the defensive side of the ball. They've got Parton, Bart, McLaughlin, and Derek Thomas up front. The linebackers are Favors, Donnie Edwards, and Anthony Davis. In the secondary, Dale Carter on the inactive list today with an injury. His place taken by Mark McMillan. It's Hasty, Woods, and Tongue to complete that 4. And again, you see the CBS first down marker to the left. Here's Wilson's second pass out to Tim Brown. 92 games in a row. Brown fumbles, but it goes out of bounds. Mark McMillan with the hit. And Brown.
Well, just a smart play here by Wade Wilson. He's getting the coverage is off. He sees it's off. He knows I go 1, 2, fake, go, throw. And then let Tim Brown, who runs as well after the catch as anybody in the league, but Mark McMillan put his helmet right there on the football. Look, McMillan head across the body right on the ball, and Raiders catch a break. That one going out of bounds.
Raiders have had problems with fumbles this season. That's their 33rd of the year, but they get this one back. First down and 10. Brown in motion to the left side. Randy Jordan, number 28, who saw extensive action last week in a 7-point win in San Diego, gets his first carry. Young man who was a special team star, but because Kaufman is out, Jordan got a chance to play extensively last week.
And what you're going to see out of Randy Jordan is a lot of what you just saw there. I know a lot of people out there don't know who Randy Jordan is, but he says, look, I'm getting my shot, and when I get the ball, I'm going to go. And there's a lot of young running backs out there that are getting shots as first and second rounders that want to dance. There's no dancing to Randy Jordan. He just goes when they give it to him.
Randy Jordan remains in the backfield with John Ritchie. On second down, Wilson back, blitz coming. Donnie Edwards got him. Middle linebacker, that's the second time Edwards is blitzed, and he drew a bead on Wade Wilson.
Well, remember, when these teams met in the first game, the Kansas City Chiefs defense had 10. That's 10 sacks. Look at Donnie Edwards go all the way around the game. No one can get him. Jordan, the halfback, was going to try to block him, but there's no way he'd get around that pile before Donnie Edwards get there for the sack. And Donnie Edwards is a player that I think personifies the type of defensive player Marty Schottenheimer wants on his team. He's smart and he doesn't make mistakes.
Third and 14. Blitz coming again. Wilson. Little crossing pattern. Tim Brown looks for a block from Ritchie, and they convert on third and 14. Ron George trailing Tim Brown. They needed 14 and they've got 17.
Yeah, and one of the misconceptions of this Bill Walsh style offense is you do it with dinks and dunks. Well, you get the ball to the receivers in dinks and dunks, but it's predicated on the yards after the catch and the skill level of your receivers. And when you got a receiver like Tim Brown catching the ball, Now, right now, starts Tim Brown time. Now Tim Brown can go back to being that great punt returner and can get the ball down the field.
Tim Brown gets a rest, a first down for Oakland on their first drive of the day. And here's Harvey Williams back in the lineup. He cracks the 15, gets down to the 14-yard line. Donnie Edwards with the stop. Again, Napoleon Kaufman inactive for the last 2 weeks. John Gruden telling us a couple of days ago his season is over.
Right, he had the ankle back-to-back. He did it against Baltimore. Then he did it against Seattle here in Oakland. And then he did a groin. So that means Harvey Williams and Jordan have to share things. And, you know, when you look at it this defensively, you look at it defensively from Kansas City's standpoint, you're going to get it by committee. But really the key is this fullback, John Ritchie's a very good lead blocker.
Jordan back in on 2nd and 9. Wilson goes deep in the corner for Brown. Got a touchdown. Just a couple of guys from Dallas. Wade Wilson, Tim Brown. Touchdown Oakland.
I mentioned John Ritchie. He did a great job picking up the blitz, but watch Tim Brown just working by himself. Straight up the field, straight to the corner. Perfectly dropped in by Wade Wilson. And, you know, the Raiders did the whole package here offensively down the field. Great play calling by John Gruden. Good pass protection by the offensive line and hard running when they needed it.
Extra point from Greg Davis is up and through. Wade Wilson, 5 of 5 on the drive. Tim Brown had 3, including the touchdown. 58 yards. Wade Wilson, perfect. Greg Davis will kick off for the 2nd time. Vanover camps under it and grabs it at the 9. Hit initially at the 23-yard line by Vince Amy, number 92, and then tackled at the 30.
Well, let's show you what happened on that touchdown pass and why it was. I talked about John Ritchie and good blocking. Look at Jordan, look at Ritchie when the linebackers blitz and the job they do stepping up, stopping this blitz. That gives Wade Wilson a little time. That keeps his face clean, and he's able to drop this pass in.
2nd possession now for Kansas City. Tim Brown gets a rest, having grabbed 3 for 39 yards in that drive. Gonzalez sets up tight to the left side. Back to Bam Morris. He circles outside, breaks the first contact. Marquise Walker missed the tackle, and Greg Beaker came up to make it. Tonight on CBS, he's a mean. You've been working on that move all day.
Oh, he's got nose guard written all over him, but I like the touch of the skateboard, though. It's kind of, he's willing to do whatever it takes.
2nd down. Gerback deep right side for Derek Alexander. Incomplete. Charles Woodson, number 24, defending.
And this is something that teams have done the last couple of weeks against Charles Woodson, is they've decided to go after him. Teams for a while said, no, we're going to go away from him. Last week, Craig Wheelahan went down the field and got himself a big touchdown pass against Charles Woodson. And Woodson might see a little bit of that in his future starting next year. Good effort. Look at the Derek Alexander and the concentration going up and keeping an eye on that ball.
3rd and 6, the Raiders best in the NFL on 3rd down defense. They yield 26.5. This one picked off, tipped and intercepted, grabbed by Richard Harvey. His first interception of the season.
And that was all set up by Charles Woodson. They went after him the last play. Well, this play he was staring at Elvis Gerbach. He got a jump on the ball, and he caused that tip. He caused that interception. Woodson's all the way out to the right side, away from the screen. Look at him, look at the quarterback. Makes the break on the ball, tips the pass, and sets the interception up. That's the kind of athlete this young guy is, and he loves to stare at the quarterback. See the head snap around and look at the quarterback, and he makes his break when he sees it.
And he got popped by Richard Harvey, so he set up the interception, and he paid the price for it. Here's Wilson, 5 for 5 so far. A lot of time, deep right side. This and Tim Brown and James Hasty were having a conversation at the 12 when the ball went to the goal line.
Well, something happened there that I was talking about earlier about what I think we're going to get in this game. You're going to get a lot of action down the field. Watch James Jett just trying to go down and do the old vertical passing game the Raiders have always had. Wade Wilson wants to throw it. He's getting the protection. Good job down the field by Gunther Cunningham's defense, just saying,
Terry Mickens and Kenny Shedd on the field now on 2nd down and 10. Here's the reverse to Tim Brown. But the Chiefs, and Brown fumbles, goes back and gets a fortuitous hop. It came right back up into his hands. Anthony Davis, number 50, made the contact.
Well, Anthony Davis and Leslie O'Neal. You know, Derek Thomas started the game at that Falcon position, and there's Derek Thomas right there. But working on the outside, Leslie O'Neal comes from the backside there, disrupts the whole thing. Davis causes the fumble. You know, these are the kind of things you see in the last game of the year. John Gruden's trying to create things, trying to create opportunities, almost an option play, and you're using a guy you know runs an airway on Tim Brown, but he just doesn't hold on to the ball.
3rd and 17. Wilson back, and again with protection. The defender slips, and for the second time, the Raiders convert a 3rd and more than 14.
They want to push the ball down the field against the Kansas City defense. And when you push the ball down the field in this offense, that means James Jett. But look how long this all takes. Look, move, find the quarterback. That means good pass protection. And when you're trying to defend a guy like James Jett, the last thing you do is let him get by you. And that's why he's able to set up in front of Mark McMillan and get that body turn for Wade Wilson.
Up the middle, Randy Jordan gets another carry. Jordan had 82 yards last week, as we said. Started his career here in '93, was dropped and was out of football for a year, a couple of years in Jacksonville, and now back.
Well, it's good to see somebody named Jordan working this time of year.
Bada bing. Yeah, but you know, financially, I think the other Jordan is okay.
He's okay. Hasn't had to quite struggle through his career as much as Randy Jordan has.
Timeout, Raiders. 2nd down and 9. Play clock winding down, so Wade Wilson uses one of the Oakland timeouts. Raiders lead 7-0. 2nd down and 9. Wilson deep in the corner for Jett and McMillan. And a little contact ruled incidental, and the pass incomplete.
Yeah, actually, I think James Jett got away with a pretty good shot there about the goal line, pushing off on Mark McMillan. And it's a side of the football game we don't see much nowadays as an offensive player getting called for that kind of push off. But down the field, I think the offensive player in this case, James Jett, has the advantage working against a much shorter Mark McMillan.
On their opening drive of the game, the Raiders converted a 3rd and 14. Earlier in this drive, 3rd and 17. Now they're looking at 3rd and 9. Wilson into the flat, dropped by Harvey Williams. And James Hasty was there to make sure with a secure tackle he would not have gotten the first down. So Greg Davis will come on to try and increase the Raider lead. Davis in his 12th year for the season 16 of 25.
And one thing this does, though, Vern, is you start getting a lead on Kansas City. If Elvis Gerbach didn't like the blitzes early, they can put a 10-point lead on the board here. He's going to get even more blitzes and more pressure.
Leo Araguz will hold. Adam True snaps it back. 41 yards. Nope. Davis unsuccessful from 41. Chiefs get the ball back as we play in Oakland. Tim Brown, who has spent his entire career with the Raiders and has a touchdown grab, his 9th of the year. 7-0. And Kansas City has it back for the 3rd time. 3 and out and an interception. Still looking for their first down. There's Bam Morris, who gets out to the 33-yard line. Tackle is made by Greg Biekert, number 54. Among other problems for Kansas City this year has been a decline in productivity of the running offense.
Well, and that's directly linked to the offensive line. They've had serious problems up front with the offensive line, just physically. And right now, physically, they're still dinged up pretty good. The best player up front for them, though, is easily Will Shields, who'll be making another trip to the Pro Bowl this year.
As a team, only 96 yards per game. Here's the flip into the flat. Kimball enters, And the contact is made by Albert Lewis, number 29, 11 years. A member of the Kansas City Chiefs, came here 5 years ago. And this, in all likelihood, his last game.
Hey, Albert's been around for a while, so Albert knows when this offense gets in trouble and gets a little desperate to try to make something happen, that means Kimball Anders leading the team in receptions. He only gets about 7 yards a crack out of receptions. But Albert Lewis studies a lot of film during the week. He knows when I see Kimball Anders early, if they're struggling, I'm staying on them.
3rd down and 3. Here's Gerbach, picked off, intercepted by Woodson, who read it again. There is a flag down on the far side of the field. Woodson gets what might be his 5th interception of the season.
Vern, he never took his eyes off of Elvis Gerbach. Last time we saw Charles Woodson was against Jake Plummer down in Arizona. He did the same thing to Jake Plummer. Stood there, stared at the quarterback, broke on the ball, and got the pick.
Illegal motion. Offense, number 69. Opportunities declined. Oakland ball. First down.
I talked to Len Dawson, the great Kansas City Chiefs quarterback, before the game. He said, I expect Elvis Gerbach to really stare at his receivers. He's a little desperate. He's not sure of what he's doing. And if you do that against this style of a defense, this is going to be the result. Because Charles Woodson is taught by Willie Shaw, his coordinator, to stare in the backfield. And he's taught by one of the all-time great cornerbacks, Willie Brown.
2nd interception suffered by the Chiefs and Elvis Gerbach. Marty Schottenheimer said again this week, Elvis Gerbach is my quarterback. And, of course, the doubts have lingered as the Chiefs have destructed this season. At the 30, Wilson with a handoff to Randy Jordan. He's got terrific speed. There's a flag down back at the 32. And another hanky at the 30-yard line.
It had to be a dandy yank there. Because they came in from all directions. And when they come in from the inside and the outside, that usually means somebody was just a full-on takedown, and it's holding.
Holding. Offense, number 76 is declined. Holding. Offense, number 79 is accepted. 10 yards, still first down.
That's why they came in from different directions. We had a couple of them doing it. It's Wisniewski and Collins working on the right side of the screen there, the left tackle, left guard. You've got a takedown, then you had a twist. It's one of the problems these Raiders have had traditionally, and it's one of the things I think John Gruden spent the most time trying to address and eliminate is the mistakes and the penalties.
118 penalties now for the season. Here's Wilson, fires it to Jet at the 29-yard line. The contact made by Reggie Tongue, a gain of 12. So they get all of it back plus a couple.
Hey, we've talked about how this defense of Kansas City is playing soft a little bit at times, and that means they're not going to let them get down the field and throw the big long pass. That is really going to mean a lot of crossing patterns, and Jet crossing pattern is not the guy you worry about so much if you're on that Kansas City defense. It's more Tim Brown, because he's a guy that can catch the ball and do things with it after he goes.
2nd and 8. Randy Jordan back as the deep back in the eye. Follows Ritchie's block, shakes one tackle, 2, another flag. Well, the first down if the play stands, but we'll see. Face mask, Kansas City. Well, Marty Schottenheimer, we chatted with him day before yesterday, and he said,
Personal foul, face mask, 97 defense, 15 yards, half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
turnovers and defensive penalties have been catastrophic.
There's Ty Parton. Watch Ty Parton, top of the screen, just reach out and yank Ricky Dudley's face mask. He doesn't always have to be on the runner, folks. He can do it to other players, and that was an obvious yank and pull by Ty Parton. This defense leads the league in penalties that end up in being first downs.
That's
amazing.
52, and the second worst, if you want to call it that, in the league is 32.
Well, I got news for you. You don't say second best on that.
Up the middle, Jordan. Touchdown. That's number 1 for Randy Jordan.
You got to feel happy for a young man like this that's hung in, played special teams, had years where he had no carries, But he made the point this week where he said, look, if I get it, I'm going to go. No baloney there. That's just pure nothing but speed. No cuts, no moves. That's natural ability by Jordan, and a great job up front by the inside guys, Robbins, Wisniewski, and Ashmore.
Greg Davis for the extra point. Randy Jordan in his 5th season in the National Football League. He scores from 10 out and increases the Oakland lead to 14 points. After the Woodson interception, 3 plays, 30 yards. Jordan gets the touchdown from 10 yards out. Greg Davis to kick it deep to Marek Vanover. Waits at the goal line. This one taken at the 6. Vanover steps out of the tackle, heads left, and is down at the 35-yard line. A stop made by James Folston and Lewis Riddick.
You hear the term all the time, seal the hole. Watch Barrett Robbins move this way on Tom Barber. Watch Wisniewski seal the hole on the backside. As the nose guard moves, Wisniewski seals, and there's nowhere for the defense to go. That just sets up a perfect run up the middle. Looks awful easy. It's nowhere near that easy.
Gerbach 1 of 5 for 4 yards, and 2 have been picked off. Deep left side, Derek Alexander, nice catch. Marquise Walker defending, but Alexander makes the grab for a gain of 29 yards.
You know, Marty Schottenheimer signed Derek Alexander in the offseason with the express intention of really renovating this passing game, really stepping it up. And the reason, this guy can make these kind of catches. He can contribute the kind of yards he's been contributing in the last 6-7 weeks.
Alexander's first grab today, but his 52nd of the season. And a first down for Kansas City. Here's Gerbach. Tight end Tony Gonzalez back home, having played at Cal. Visit the NFL online and get ready for the wild card. 2nd down 3, waning moments of quarter number 1. You see the line beyond which Kansas City must go for a first down. CBS first down. Here's Van Morris searching at the left side and appears to have gotten the first down. Grady Jackson, number 90, with the tackle.
Yeah, that's the part of this football team that, you know, they've always struggled, the Kansas City Chiefs, since they had Joe Montana, rented him for a year or 2, in finding a quarterback they really wanted and they really thought would fit in here and do the things they need him to do. But I think that really the missing piece of the puzzle has been, since Marcus Allen left, they don't have a real big play type running back. That's where, you know, if I'm drafting for the Kansas City Chiefs, I think I'm looking in that direction, trying to find a young, explosive running back.
Here's the play fake. Gerbach. He's being chased by Jackson, avoids him, and goes left, incomplete.
Any question why big defensive linemen hate quarterbacks? Because they can make you look that bad. They can make you look so bad in front of a lot of people. You break free, you come right up the gut, and you got the quarterback right in your sights. I've got him. It's a sack, no problem. He made me look bad. Grady Jackson will remember that. Grady Jackson, when he gets a shot coming up here on Elvis, will follow through.
2nd and 10, Kansas City. Andre Rison goes wide left. Alexander splits off to the right against Woodson. 4-man rush. Gerbach pumps, lobs it out. Caught by Bam Morris, but he is nailed by Greg Biekert. And here's the expected. Our first fight of the afternoon in this bitter rivalry between these two teams, and it is broken up. It involved James Harris and Glenn Parker.
And Glenn Parker's been a ball player for the Kansas City Chiefs this year that's played everywhere. Marty Schottenheimer, in fact, when we talked to him the other day, said he might be our most valuable player if you judge it strictly by the term most, you know, you can't do it without him.
Now another little fracas breaks up, but it's quickly broken up. We've reached the end of the first quarter. We'll return to Network Associates Coliseum. Vern Lundquist along with Randy Cross and Michelle Tafoya. And as we went to the break, Darrell Russell continued the conversation with members of the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm feeling a lot of love. It's gushing.
3rd down and 10, 14-0. That's Alexander in motion. Gerbach, the blitz coming. He reads it. Let's go of it, and Alexander inside the 15 for a first down. Anthony Newman makes the tackle, a gain of 14.
Hey, you notice a change here, too, for Kansas City offensively. They're not making Elvis Gerbach stand back there and hold the ball. A lot of quick 3-step stuff. Watch Elvis Gerbach. 1, 2, 3. That ball's gone. Bang. They're running the zone. You get into that crease in the zone, and you get the heck rid of it. Because if you hold on to it, this blitz is going to get you.
1st and 10 just outside the 10. Kimball Anders surges over right tackle and is down at the 1-yard line. And the conversations continue between these two.
Well, initially, that was a play that looked like a good hole that turned into a good push. I mean, you go from a hole there. Now watch this part. Anders' first contact made by Albert Lewis. Push, knee down. Ball is marked. Good call by our officials. Watch the knee as the push starts by Anders. Right there. The ball ends up over the goal line, but it wasn't.
Handoff left side. Van Morris stopped short. Just short. Greg Biekert.
Well, there's a lot of good things can happen when you're diving and you're in the air. But if there's 10 chances, 8 of them are going to end up like this. Because watch Greg Biekert come from the left side of your screen. As he goes in the air, Biekert meets him in the air. No momentum, and the ball stops. Contact, ball stops, not over the goal line.
Tony Richardson in his fullback now. Bam Morris is the deep back. It's Morris who spins and is dropped again. And again, it's Greg Biekert, number 54.
Oh, Greg Biekert's a smart linebacker. Greg Biekert knows Bam Morris in the game. Gee, you think they might give it to him? Watch him come in again. First it was high, got him off the ground. Running backs in the air are very, very vulnerable. And Greg Biekert's the kind of player from that inside linebacker position that can hurt him doing it.
3rd and goal. Morris gets the touchdown. His 7th of the season, and the Chiefs are on the board. Van Morris joined this club midway through the 1998 season.
The difference in that goal line stand, why that last one was a touchdown, Greg Biekert's going to bury himself here, and look who the people are that actually try to tackle Bam Morris. Are they linebackers? Nope. Nice block by Will Shields, or defensive backs, Riddick and Albert Lewis. That's a little bit different on a running back, having a defensive back hit him in the goal line situation rather than a linebacker.
Calvin Branch, one of the 2 deep men. Desmond Howard joins him, and Pete Stoyanovich kicks off for Kansas City, a 14-7 game. This one taken by Howard at the 9-yard line. Desmond Howard out of bounds at the 25-yard line. On the first day of February after the new year, on at quarterback, his team leading 14-7. 1st and 10, Richie. Randy Jordan in the backfield. Here's Randy Jordan. Oh, boy. He bounces it to the outside and picks up yardage when it looked like all was lost.
Randy Jordan.
Well, sometimes you use that old term about hitting it and getting it.
Right.
Well, what he hit is a pile in his own backfield that was caused by the offensive line, the defense, and his fullback, Richie. Look at that. There's the hitting it. Wisniewski's getting pushed back into his lap, and there's the getting it. Because don't make any mistake about the fact that Randy Jordan has the speed to do that kind of run.
80 yards for the man from North Carolina, 82 yards last week, 5 for 30 in this ball game. Now Harvey Williams back in, and he gets the handoff. Squirts through to the 35-yard line. Just short of the first down. Ty Parton, number 97, made the tackle.
And having a running game that can produce some rushing yards for these Oakland Raiders is absolutely critical for John Gruden's offense. It's something they've sputtered with all year long. They had a big playmaker, Napoleon Kaufman, but he's not around. So it's got to be Harvey Williams. It's got to be Jordan. And if they can do that, it causes play action, and play action means long stuff down the field.
third, less than a yard. Oakland leading by 7. The handoff goes to Williams, who has trouble grabbing the football, but manages to get the first down.
Well, he did a little Marcus there. You know, Marcus Allen started his career with these Raiders and went on to play with the Chiefs and talked about it in the pregame show, the great rivalry. But what he did there is what you saw Marcus Allen do for years, run into a pile and suddenly lurch out about a foot off the ground. Watch the beginning. Is this going to be a first down? Not a chance. Now look at his helmet. Here comes Harvey Williams out the other side about a foot off the ground.
Randy Jordan back in on the 1st and 10 play. Tim Brown comes in motion. Wilson back. And that one caught. Ricky Dudley, no, dropped it. Had it, dropped it. And it will be 2nd down and 10. Jerome Woods made the hit on Dudley.
And Ricky Dudley is such a big target, such a fine football player, and physically looks like he should be catching 80, 90 balls a game. Wilson gets in the ball, but it's right on the hip. He never had possession. Nice contact by Woods. But look at the ball itself. It's never tucked in. It's never put away, and Jerome Woods makes sure it isn't. But, you know, Ricky Dudley's a guy that I think John Gruden's got to get more involved in this offense next year to make it more explosive.
2nd and 10. Hand off to Jordan. Comes right break. Favors with good run defense. Forces him inside. And it's 3rd down and 10 officially here. Back split. Wilson back. Dudley with a block. Wilson scrambling and fires it into the Raider bench, incomplete. Darian Thomas, number 58, with the pressure.
Boy, if you're into body language and making physical acts so to tell you what's going on right now, this Kansas City defense physically is taking it to the Oakland Raiders blockers and offensive linemen and pushing them back into Wade Wilson's lap.
Leo Aragu's on to punt on 4th down. Vanover waits for it at the 20. 14-7. Vanover drifting back and grabbing it at the 15-yard line. Whoa again.
Remember the thing about smart football players not making dumb mistakes? That would go into the category of just another dumb mistake. And my guess is Vanover stayed away from Marty Schottenheimer on the sideline.
Here's Gerbach, lobs it out left side, down the sideline, tipped away from Joe Horn by Woodson. Charles Woodson. We expect to see him on offense some today.
Well, you know, he made the comment after John Gruden said he was going to play some offense. He says, oh, why? You know, heck, why this late? Well, his specialty is defense. That's good guessing when you see the receiver's hands come up like that the ball's coming and getting your hand up there.
Last time we were here, Randy and Michelle and I, Oakland, Seattle, Woodson was scheduled to play some offense that day, but Eric Allen went out with a season-ending knee injury, and he became even more of a defensive specialist. Van Morris knocked down by Grady Jackson. Here's Gerbach. Again, he goes deep and lays Andre Rison out. The pass is incomplete. Rison with 39 catches this year, kind of a subpar season.
Well, there's no other place really for Elvis Gerbach to put this pass. It's not really a bad pass because you're trying to fit it in between the safety and the corner. See, Albert Lewis is the safety. The corner is back around Marquise Walker the other way. He's trying to drop it into that little space. That's a tough pass to complete.
Louis Aguiar, 2nd punt of the day. He punts from the end zone. Desmond Howard at the 46-yard line of the Raiders. 14-7. Oakland trying to get a winning record for the first time since they returned to Oakland from their ventures south of Los Angeles. Nice punt by Aguiar. Howard drifting back and grabs it at the 35. Chased by Richardson, and then down as he gets to the 43-yard line. There is a fumble on the play, but I think officials are going to rule the ball down. Damon Hughes, number 83, trying to signal Kansas City ball.
Well, then it's just a great opportunity to punch each other and pull on each other's face masks for these two teams.
Happy holidays from Oakland.
I don't know, folks. What do you think? You have to be an official to figure that ball might have been a little bit loose and that could have been a fumble. I'd call that a serious break for the Oakland Raiders.
I'd say next year that's going to be Kansas City ball. First down and 10. Here's Wade Wilson back, comes right. Has a receiver open in front of McMillan. James Jett makes the grab. Stays inbounds across the 50 at the 49-yard line. And happy holidays to everyone everywhere.
Something about those two symbols don't go together. The red and white hat and that shield in the front of it.
Oh, can you imagine Fred the Hammer Williamson looking at this?
Now there you go. That's the real deal. He's got plenty of time on his hands. Get himself a cold one and a brat, sit in the stands, let the elves take care of the house.
And on. Jordan. Randy Jordan. 14-7 Raiders. Tim Brown with a touchdown catch. Randy Jordan with a touchdown run. That gave Oakland a 14-0 lead. Kansas City went 64 yards, and Van Morris got a 1-yard touchdown to make it a 14-7 game. Wilson finds his tight end, Ricky Dudley, inside the 40 at the 39.
Well, they split Ricky Dudley out wide right as a wide receiver. And James Hasty's he looks up and says, now, wait a minute. I'm used to a guy about 6 foot, about 210 pounds. Here comes a guy 6'5", 6'6", about 250. Look at him climb on and hold on. Says, hey, this guy doesn't go down quite as easy as those wide receivers do.
Dudley in his third year. And his second catch for 26 yards. Tim Brown in motion, followed by Hasty. Oh, my goodness, fumble. Chester McLaughlin, the former Raider, with the contact. And Randy Jordan coughs it up.
Chester McLaughlin gets off the ball like
first for the Raiders. Kimball Anders and Van Morris in the backfield behind Elvis Gerbach. Alexander starts in motion on 1st and 10. Play fake. Blitz from the outside. Across the middle, incomplete for Gonzalez. Terry Wooden, Greg Biekert defending. We are at Network Associates Coliseum in Oakland, Kansas City, and the Raiders meeting for the 80th time. First game was played in this Coliseum September 18th, 1966. These two teams. And the Chiefs won that one 32-10. Gerbach chased, comes back, finds his tight end Gonzalez. Terrific pass from Gerbach. And Gonzalez tackled at the 35-yard line, a 24-yard gain.
Well, you know, if you're at home, you like to go out and throw the ball around. At halftime today, when you go out and throw that ball around, try one of these. You're being chased by a defense. You're running full speed to your right. You see your guys open. How do you make that throw? That is an excellent throw by Elvis Gerbach, but it is low percentage. A lot of danger thrown against your body into the middle of the defense, but it was a zone, and Gonzalez is wide open.
Chiefs, quick flip, right side. Done by Andre Rison, number 89. Charles Woodson with the tackle. 6-yard gain. Rison, as we said, only 39 catches coming into the ball game. The Chiefs do have 3 receivers, 3 men who caught more than 50 passes this year. Kimball Anders, Derek Alexander, and the tight end Gonzalez.
When you're down as much as Rison is in catches, normally say it's been a bad year. I think it's hard to say Rison's had a bad year. People have figured out, we'll stuff him.
Van Morris stuffed at the 29-yard line. Russell Merrill, number 67, the last man up. At the start of the game, here is the way the pass distribution was marked for the Kansas City Chiefs. Anders with 56, Gonzalez 54, and Alexander with 51.
Well, your leading receiver, though, Anders, is about 7.5 per. The guy that does the most damage down the field is Derek Alexander this year. He averages about 14, 15 yards a catch.
Kimball Anders tries to carry on this one, and Richard Harvey is there to knock him backwards.
Hey, really, the key coming into this year for Kansas City was we want our passing yards in chunks. Well, they're going to get chunked on this defensive play. Kimball Anders has got no shot because Harvey just brings his helmet, his shoulder pads, and all the chunk he's got, but it puts it right into the running back from Kansas City.
That brings on Pete Stoyanovich, 26 of 30 for the season. High snap. Stoyanovich has the distance, but it is not good. So missed field goals on both sides of the field, and the score remains 14-7. Here's Wilson. Across the middle, you heard the pop. Tim Brown makes the catch. Modest gain out to the 41. Jordan, no gain at the 41. Tackle made by Anthony Davis, number 50.
I talked earlier about how this Chiefs defense just seems to physically be pressing the game into the Raiders' backfield. And plays like that by Anthony Davis, the last play we saw to Chester McLaughlin happening 3-4 yards into the backfield. Physically right now, this front seven of Kansas City is taking it to the front of the Raiders offense. They got off to such a good start.
3rd and 6. Harvey Williams back in with John Ritchie, and Terry Mickens as a third wide receiver. Wilson chased by Leslie O'Neal, and he pushes him into the arms of Robert Williams, number 46. And that will bring up a 4th down. More emotional conversations continue between these two.
Well, the Chief defense plays emotional. A lot of that's a reflection of their coordinator, Gunther Cunningham. You know, he really keeps this defense at a high pitch. It's been a disappointment this year. The mistakes they've made have been just dumb mistakes, jumping off sides and doing those things. But it's
Leo Aragou's second punt. Vanover, who had a memorable return the last time he grabbed one inside the 20-yard line. And Aragou's goes left with this to keep it away from Vanover. Little backspin out of bounds right at the 20-yard line. Well, we talked a lot about the Nate. Took place in 1970 on November 1st, 4th quarter. Len Dawson hit by Ben Davidson, and the fight began. Otis Taylor was the first one to Davidson. The Raiders then stopped the Chiefs on 3rd down to get the ball back. In the end, George Blanda's 48-yard field goal with 8 seconds left ended the game in a tie. The final score in that one, 17-17.
Well, Bonnie Bernstein had a good piece on this whole rivalry in the pregame show. And, you know, Ben Davidson, I loved his comment about that play. He says, well, all I was doing was going down. I was just downing him with my helmet.
There was a holding call on Robert Williams that cost the Chiefs half the distance to the goal line. So the ball back inside the 15. 1st and 10, 14-7. 2:03 to go before the halftime break. Play action, Gerbach comes back across the body and throws it away. And a flag at the 1-yard line. James Harris and Darrell Russell were doing the chasing.
That's going to be holding against the Kansas City offense as Gerbach was running out of there.
Holding. Offense number 68. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat, 1st down.
Will Shields. Well, for years, the Oakland Raiders had the reputation as being the most penalty-filled team in the league. And Kansas City leads the league by a bunch in 1998. We've reached the 2-minute warning. 2nd and 10 in a 14-7 ball game. Oakland trying to go to 9-7 for the year, and the Chiefs.
The holding penalty was declined. 2nd down.
And thanks to Mike Carey for straightening that out.
This is the noise end of this Coliseum. Elvis Gerbach in this offense. At on 2nd and 10 are going to hear nothing but a lot of screaming. Guarantee you they're going to get pressure in this situation.
Donnell Bennett, number 30, in the backfield behind Gerbach, 2nd and 10. Comes deep left side, and Derek Alexander is open and makes the grab at the 26-yard line. That'll be good enough for a first down. A gain of 16. And now a discussion taking place.
It's all about the possession. What was happening as he went out of bounds? Did he have full control of the ball as he went out of bounds? Where it might be a penalty for players to get into those officials' discussions and start screaming and yelling. Stay the heck away. You got no part in that anyway. I mean, your input, I'm sure, is appreciated by your coaching staff, but they don't belong in those huddles.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 38. 5 yards. Automatic. First down.
I'm assuming, since they marked it back to the 15-yard line, they decided that Derek Alexander was juggling the ball as he neared the sideline.
And here's why. As he goes out of bounds, 1, 2, and there's the flag. The contact happened down the field, caught the ball, has control, but didn't drag the foot. Didn't dot that I and drag that foot.
But the contact call gives Kansas City a first down at the 15. Into the flat for Anders, who is popped. 38 on 38. And a gain of 1. Kimball Anders makes the grab. Marquise Walker. And the clock shows 1:30 to go. 2nd down and 9. Into the flat. Clock. 20-yard line. Tackle was made by Richard Harvey on Kimball Anders. 3rd and 5. Flags down. And this one is a flag that was thrown before the play snap.
It's going to be early motion on Jeff Criswell, the left tackle.
Before the snap, false start on the offense. Number 69. Half the distance from goal. Usually 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
And there's not a whole lot of noise in this situation. So normally you'd say there's no reason for this offensive lineman here, Criswell, to give that little flinch out. Now, there wasn't any noise on that snap. On this next snap, you got to expect this crowd, this end of the end zone, to start going a little bit crazy for Gerbach and the guys.
Well, they can't go too much crazier. 3rd and 10. Gerbach, Anders. Short of the first down at the 21-yard line with 53 seconds remaining. And time is called by the Oakland Raiders. They will get the ball back when we return to Oakland. Desmond Howard at the 40-yard line. Louis Aguilar awaits the snap now from Ralph Tam. Third punt in the first half for Aguilar.
Perfect situation for these Oakland Raiders to set up a return for Desmond Howard.
He's at the 37. Fair catch. Howard at the 43. Another flag. This one down at the 17-yard line. Back near the line of scrimmage.
Showed you that graphic a little while ago about the number of penalties for the Chiefs this year. They're starting to creep up on that Raider record.
Illegal hands to the face. Offense, number 54. 10 yards. Repeat, 4th down.
That's on linebacker Greg Favors, and it's the 5th first half penalty on the Chiefs.
Hey, Marty Schottenheimer, you see him kind of shaking his head. He knows in these situations, too, you just got something that worked out pretty well. You had a fair catch by Desmond Howard with your guys all around him. You give Desmond Howard another shot in this situation, you're asking for some serious trouble on a return.
Aguiar has to do it again, this time from inside the end zone.
There's some of those invisible yards, Vern. You know where he had the ball before, and then where he's going to get the ball now are kind of invisible yards. You don't ever see him in a play sheet.
Well, he made the fair catch at the 43. Let's see what difference the penalty makes. Oh boy, Aguiar nailed it. A terrific punt. Back to the 34. Desmond Howard, and another flag. Aguiar's into a little battle back at the 42-yard line. The punter.
So rookie Charles Woodson working with Aguiar back there. The hands here.
What was it these two teams average in the games against each other? Something like 18 penalties.
By the return team, during the return, number 20, 10 yards, first down.
Well, there's two things you can count on flying when these two teams meet are fists and flags. And here's Aguiar at the end of that play. You mentioned it. That's Kenny Shedd, the wide receiver. And that's about right. If a wide receiver is going to find somebody to puff up on, you might as well puff up on a punter.
I think Aguiar did quite well.
He might have found himself the wrong punter. I mean, look at Aguiar. Oh, now he goes to the face. Now he's got help.
No, Aguiar's explaining on the sideline, I had him. I took him down twice, almost. And here's a handoff to Harvey Williams to the 36-yard line. Donnie Edwards makes the tackle. Isn't it amazing how the flags disrupt the rhythm of a ball game, though?
And the Raiders just decide, well, that's okay. We'll let this time run off the clock. That tells me a little bit something about their confidence in their offense at this point, too. You're just leaving an opportunity sitting right here saying, okay, what the heck? We'll just go in and wait until halftime and come out and do it again. I don't like that at all.
Well, when Marcus was with these Chiefs here, I mean, he loved to see a lot of good offense. We started with a little good offense for the Chiefs, but mostly defense since then. You'll see both when we look at the stats eventually here. You'll see a lot of low yardage when it comes to the yards in general because of the defense.
And here's the statistical breakdown. First downs 10-7, rushing yards minuscule almost, and the passing yards quite even. Time of possession, all that reflects a 14-7 ball game. Desmond Howard waits for the kickoff and grabs the short one at the 17-yard line. And down at the 29. And let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
All right, Vern. Well, Marty Schottenheimer told me at halftime that his offense has come up with just one good drive this game. And if they're going to put more points on the board, then they've got to have better field position. As for John Gruden, he repeated his oft-repeated mantra, we've got to make plays. We've got to convert our field goals. We must make catches. We've got to make plays. It's as simple as that, Vern.
All right, Michelle. And those of you who were really paying attention might have seen a little special sparkle to Michelle Tafoya's presentation. It was on the left hand. She became engaged last night to Mark Vandersalt. Congratulations to our colleague. Right side. Flag thrown at the 38-yard line. James Jett, the intended receiver.
29, automatic, first down.
The Raiders pick up right where they sort of left off in the beginning of the game, and it's just saying, let's go after Mark McMillan. Let's feature James Jett. And let's really take advantage of what we can get outside when we get a little soft coverage, because McMillan was off. He closed, and that's where the interference came. If they're going to give him the pad, they're going to have to pay for it with big yards. What they really did in the end of the first half was be very aggressive and play up tight.
Randy Jordan back in the lineup. Here's Tim Brown in motion, followed by Hasty. Jordan gets the toss. Terrific penetration from Anthony Davis. Can't quite secure the tackle, but Jordan is knocked out of bounds, or knocked down at the 37-yard line. Ty Parton with the tackle. 14-7. The emotion and love displayed between these two teams.
And then a lot of big plays, too. Tim Brown here on his touchdown, getting a nice Nice pass from Wade Wilson. Then Randy Jordan straight up the gut for his touchdown for the Raiders. And finally, Bam Morris on this goal line series, after a couple of times being thwarted, was able to get that ball in.
Wilson back on second down. Settles for Tim Brown short, and he is popped.
The ball's on the ground. Either got called incomplete or haven't seen a signal yet, but that ball came out right after the contact.
Now the head linesman said down by contact, so it will be ruled a catch.
And that was the situation when you put a running back or any receiver in this situation here. Look at Tim Brown coming out of the backfield. You turn, he's got the hand out like, no, not in the face. And Donnie Edwards hits him right in the mug, and that ball comes out. Bang. Down, ball out. Good call.
3rd and 10. Wilson goes left. Now tries to come back right. And Derek Thomas, who had 6 sacks of Jeff George in the first game back in September, but only 4 sacks in the subsequent 15 games, gets one here.
Well, watch the good job of team defense, though, because Derek Thomas comes from one side, but Chester McLaughlin, when Wade Wilson moves, McLaughlin gets him on the onside. There's nowhere to go. And he doesn't know what's waiting for him backside until he turns his head, and there's Derek Thomas.
On 4th down, here's the punt from Araguz. Vanover at the 19. Another flag on a kicking play. This one thrown at the 35. Greg Beekert down to make the tackle.
There is no foul in the play. All the action was legal. Timeout.
12:44 to go in the 3rd quarter.
It's another oops flag, I guess, huh, Vern?
Bury that puppy. Another typical Raider.
What do you give him for Christmas?
Oh, dear.
A bucket of blood?
1st and 10. Now we know how he spent Christmas Eve, getting dressed. Took him all that night and today and yesterday. Here's Gerbach being chased by Russell. Heaves it out of bounds on the far side. Well, Aguiar and Araguz are starring in this emotional battle so far.
Well, see, remember, Aguiar got into it with a wide receiver. Here's Araguz, suddenly got himself a hold of a linebacker, Ron George. Look at George. Hey, I'm not doing anything. A little tap on the head. That's embarrassing for a linebacker. You didn't put a guy like this down.
Here's a scoop. Holiday cheer, another flag.
Illegal substitution by the offense. 12 men in the huddle. 5 yards. Remains 2nd down.
That's going to drive Marty Schottenheimer bananas.
Well, you know, the new rule this year was basically the fact that you can't have all kinds of people on the field in the huddle and then break them out at the last minute. And here's the break it out at the last minute. Bam Morris running off the field. Kimball Anders also in the backfield. And just another example of something that's got to make Marty just grind his teeth to a nub.
Gerbach on 2nd down. Across the middle. Caught by his tight end, Gonzalez. And Gonzalez has a 1st down out to the 44-yard line. That's a gain of 20.
And as much as the penalties have driven Marty Schottenheimer crazy, this young tight end Gonzalez is one of the things he really talks upbeat about when you talk about his football team. What are the positive things you've taken out of this year? One of the first things out of his mouth is his young tight end Gonzalez, number 88, left side of your screen. Look at the zone defense. Linebackers all level out. Gonzalez runs out there. Gerbach gets him the ball. But this young guy is going to be a force in this league for a good 8-9 years to come.
1st and 10 after the 20-yard gain. Screen pass left side. Kimball Anders gets a couple of good blocks. It's Van Morris instead of Anders. 39 instead of 38. And he rolls all the way to the 25-yard line before Anthony Newman makes the grab.
Well, that's a greedy run by a big runner. See, little guys don't run greedy. When I say greedy, you know, a greedy runner, when he's this big, makes no moves. Right now, the shoulders go up, the knees go up, and he's just flat getting down the field, getting as many yards as he can, because he sees all this space in the defense. And a runner like Van Morris is not used to having that much air around him.
Gerbach will throw again on first down. Got it near the end zone. Flag thrown. Derek Alexander got tangled up with Charles Woodson.
It's pretty obvious the attack they're taking on this Raider defense today. That's their 10th pass on first down out of 14 first downs.
Defense, number 24, automatic. First down.
Well, they've also made an issue of saying, look, Woodson's going to look inside, Woodson's going to cheat, Woodson's going to make his moves, but we're still going to go after him. Woodson there called for that pass interference, and there's Elvis Gerbach's reaction because he had Alexander.
That's a 24-yard penalty. Richardson and Bam Morris in the backfield now on first and goal. Play fake. Gerbach will run or pass. Scampers. And he is out of bounds just short of the goal line.
Oh, that could be it. We're talking about an embarrassing moment. Look at Elvis. He's smiling, but inside he's going, oh, man. I ran a little naked boot. I had my tight end, Tony Gonzalez, in the corner of the end zone. I'm running around. I'm thinking pass. Suddenly now I'm thinking run. Steps out of bounds.
Here's Bam Morris. They go the conventional route, and Bam Morris gets his second touchdown.
You know what Elvis Gerbach was trying to do with the ball?
Morris, second touchdown. Stoyanovich with the extra point. And with 11:16 remaining in the third quarter, Bam Morris gets the touchdown after Elvis Gerbach on a bootleg was ruled not to have scored. Now Stoyanovich getting ready to kick off. 71-yard drive, 5 plays, most of them big. Gonzalez with a 20-yard catch, Bam Morris a 29-yard catch, and then a 24-yard pass interference call on Woodson. This will be Desmond Howard down at the 18-yard line. Tackle made by Keith Crawford. Go back and watch, take a look at Elvis Gerbach.
On that right side.
Randy Jordan in the backfield in a tie game. Play action, Wilson pulls up and drills it. Caught by Jet out to the 29-yard line. Donnie Edwards and Reggie Tung with the tackle.
How about that? Obviously, he's a guy that likes to sleep in, both before the game and at halftime, because he peaks a little late.
And for the afternoon, Wade Wilson, 12 of 17 for 123, on for his third start of the season, and all 3 in succession. Here's Wilson, right side, caught by John Ritchie, the fullback, the rookie from Stanford. That's complete. Anthony Davis makes the tackle.
You watch in the next couple of years how much bigger weapon John Gruden makes out of John Ritchie. This year he's used Ritchie predominantly as a lead blocker, and the guy's got a head like a rock, so he's a good lead blocker. He doesn't mind getting in there and mixing it up with linebackers. But he played at Stanford. He's a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run it every once in a while and can be effective doing it. He's another guy I think's a big new weapon next year for Gruden.
On 2nd and 7, blitz coming. Oh, Wade Wilson went down. And now a flag is thrown. Wilson grabbed his left hip and went to the ground.
They immediately reminded of that groin injury that George suffered in that game against Arizona, where he's just kind of running to the right and suddenly just seized up.
Donald Hollis, of course, is next in line. Jeff George still suffering from the groin injury. And here is Donald Hollis out of Rice.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 59, defense, helmet, contact, automatic, first down.
Well, a key here, too, is you've got an obviously defensive play. I mean, just completely defenseless player. Watch Wilson as he goes to plant. He falls down. Look at the head-to-the-head contact by Donnie Edwards. I made a comment earlier about what a smart player Donnie Edwards was, and that one right there was not a very smart play.
Wilson on the sideline, and Donald Hollis, who came on in place of Jeff George after that injury at the Arizona game, and had modest success, was finally benched for Wade Wilson 3 weeks ago. Here's the handoff to Randy Jordan. Well, this season kind of turned around for the Oakland Raiders. They went into Arizona on October 4th. Here's the injury to Jeff George.
And very similar from the standpoint of doesn't look like much, and suddenly the Raider quarterback's grabbing and limping. And much like Wilson's was. Wilson side shuffling back, usual type of thing, just dropping back for the pass, and in the same general area type of injury.
Now Donald Hollis, for the season better than 1,600 yards. He's got Tim Brown. McMillan with the tackle, but Tim Brown got loose in the secondary. That's a gain of 27.
And that's the kind of play I think that John Gruden got so excited about with his young quarterback, Donald Hollis, when he got his shot earlier in the year, is the fact that, yeah, he threw interceptions, and he did some things that he didn't like on occasion. But when he got in there and he got his shot, he's willing to stand in there, take a good shot from a guy coming into his face, and get the ball to his receiver. And Donnie Edwards right into the quarterback right there. Just eases up and still gets the contact on Hollis, but Hollis didn't let that bother him.
Here's Hollis with a play fake. Steps up, goes deep left side. Incomplete. He couldn't make the connection with Tim Brown. Coverage from James Hasty, number 40.
Hey, you got to remember, too, Wade Wilson's taken all the snaps this last week. So Donald Hollis is in a situation where he knows he's the number 2 quarterback, not taking many snaps, knows it's the last game of the season. Come off the bench after an injury like this. The game like this is the definition of the term. You got to be ready to come in at any time for a backup quarterback. Preseason, last game, whatever.
And it's 2nd down and 10. Tries to shake the tackle. Leslie O'Neal wraps him up at the 34-yard line. It will be 3rd down. Now let's check in with Michelle Tapoya.
Well, Vern, Randy, according to the Raider medical staff, it is Wade Wilson's left groin that is bothering him. They are checking on it. His return at this point is questionable. We'll let you know when we have more.
And that obviously sets up, too, Jeff George. We showed his injury in Arizona. He's here as the number 3 quarterback today. Yeah, you see, he's kind of half stretching out his legs here, just sort of, you know, he's not intending to go in, but he's going to keep things a little bit warm just in case.
On your right, you saw the CBS first down line. Here's Hollis. He'll run. He's got a little bit of room. He's going to come up short of the first down, but he went head first. Anthony Davis says no.
Well, what this play here really sets up is exactly what John Gruden talked to Michelle Tafoya about at halftime is, you know, when we get our opportunities, we got to take advantage of them and try them. And here's a chance where Hollis had the opportunity and wasn't able to take advantage of it. Anthony Davis points out it's not a first down. But now what's the next opportunity is Greg Davis has already missed field goal.
Missed from 41, kicks this one from 44. Adam True will snap it. Araguz will hold it. Here comes the rush. That one, like the center's name, is True. The tie is broken. 17-14. Oakland reclaims the lead. Wade Wilson starting his 3rd successive game for the Raiders and playing very well. Went out with a groin pull a moment ago. And on that 3rd down scramble, Donald Hollis came up short of the first down and then limped over to the sideline, favoring a groin. And, of course, Jeff George injured his groin October 4th, was out, came back, tried to play the first half on November 29th against the Washington Redskins, re-injured the groin. So, quarterback problems for the Raiders. Here's Vanover at the 13. Vanover down at the 34-yard line. Donald Hollis 31 years of age in his 6th season. He has had more playing time this year than in any of the previous 5. Darnell Bennett in the backfield behind Gerbach. Play fake. And they find Derek Alexander. He slips, keeps going, splits the middle, and is all the way to the 29-yard line. Woodson and Alexander.
There's some things a football player does on the field. You say, man, that is a really good move. And afterwards, they like to watch the tape and they say, hey, how'd you like that move? Now here's when Derek Alexander is just going to have to defend himself on. His comeback might be, I meant to do this. Yeah, right. But that little hesitation and slip as the defense over pursues and opens up the backside of that run.
A gain of 41, a first down at the 29. Bam Morris to the 20 and down to the 17-yard line.
Well,
that's a gain of 12. Excuse me.
Marty Schottenheimer talked a lot about at the beginning of the year. Our offense has got to come in chunks. He hasn't seen many of those big positive chunks from his offense, but gee, on those last 2 plays, those are the big positive chunk type plays that he was looking out of his offense for earlier in the year.
Donnell Bennett in for Bam Morris now on first down. Gonzalez sets up to the right side. Handed off to Kimball Anders, the fullback, number 38. Gets a couple to the 15. The tackle made by Pat Swilling, the 12-year man, number 56.
In 3 yards of the play. 2nd and 7. The ball is spotted at the 14.
If I'm Marquise Walker, the off corner for the Oakland Raiders right now, I'm starting to get a little bit lonely. Because the majority of the business has gone over to the star side, over there to Charles Woodson. They've decided that maybe the guy we need to go after is Woodson.
Anders in the backfield and Gonzalez in motion on 2nd down. Gerbach across the middle finds Anders at the 11-yard line. He may have been knocked down at the 12. See where they spot this. We'll set up a 3rd down.
Another little slip, Vern. And, you know, this field here is not real good.
Anders and Bennett. This is Bennett in motion. Gerbach across the middle. That might be short of the first down. We'll see where the spot is. Gonzalez makes the grab.
It's going to be about 2 feet short of the first down.
And there's the spot.
Now, this is a situation, too, where offensive linemen say, go for it. They've got that mentality. Go for it, coach. Go for it. And good veteran coaches like Marty Schottenheimer, if this comes up short, say, kicker, go do what we pay you to do. Go put some points on the board.
Clock stop for the measurement. Two feet, you said, huh? Close. That's good enough.
Well, this is a safe play by Elvis because down the field there was a little bit of trouble and good coverage. And he just takes the easy one and jumps it over the middle trying to get his first down with his tight end.
For the season, Chiefs are 52% going for it on 4th down, as you see. Bam Morris, Tony Richardson. 4th and a foot and a half. Delay a game. No, motion call. Beg your pardon.
False start on the offense. Number 61. Illegal snap. 5 yards. 4th down.
Well, that makes Marty Schottenheimer's decision a little bit easier. What Tim Grunhard was called for is that they get some movement in there by the arm. Didn't really see much going on there by Tim Grunhard, exactly what he was doing. But Albert Lewis sure liked that call. The fact they threw that flag.
Stoyanovich for the tie. And he knocks that home. So once again, we are tied. This time 17 all, 3:53 to go in the third. Welcome back to Oakland, day after Christmas. Vern Lundquist, Randy Cross, Michelle Tafoya. The game tied at 17 after the Stoyanovich field goal. Now he will kick off. Desmond Howard, Calvin Branch. Wait for it at the 5. Desmond Howard at the 10. Still to the 23-yard line. Tackle made by Minuski. And Donald Hollis warming up on the sideline during the break, and he'll give it a go.
One more time on what happened on that penalty. Watch Tim Grunhard right there. Watch that left hand and the motion. It won't be much, but look at the quick motion with the left hand. Bang. See that? Now watch Harvey, 52, the linebacker, pointing in there saying, hey, he moved. It takes the umpire a while, but he finally gets that flag out. I don't think the Chiefs had any intention of snapping that. The whole idea was trying to get somebody to jump.
Jordan gets the give from Donald Hollis and goes left, loses yardage. Donnie Edwards, Derek Thomas, 59 and 58.
And another play by a Kansas City defender in the other guy's backfield. And Anthony Davis is in obvious pain there. But this Kansas City defense is really doing a nice job of penetrating the Raiders' front.
Anthony Davis, outside linebacker. And the clock stopped while they tend to his wrist injury.
Anthony Davis, number 50, coming from that inside linebacker position. On the backside of the play, just grabs that left arm. Just suddenly just goes to that left arm.
And has not made it to the bench area. He's still being helped at the 35-yard line. Ron George takes his place on 2nd and 12. Here's Hollis, and he finds a receiver, Tim Brown, at the 33-yard line. Well, made by Jerome Woods.
Chiefs defense did exactly what I was talking about. They came after Hollis, but Hollis used all the time he got. Look at Tim Brown, just clears the linebacker 54 favors in that zone, and Hollis gives him the ball because Hollis did not have any more time to hold on to that ball.
Report from the bench, a thumb injury for Anthony Davis, and his return questionable. Here's Hollis, left side to Jet, to the 47-yard line. Jerome Woods with the tackle, but a gain of 21.
Well, Donald Hollis has made a few things happen. He's brought the little oomph and sizzle to this offense. The Raiders moved it early and then stalled for a while, but since Hollis has been in the game, some very decisive throws by Donald Hollis. There's so little hesitation in his decision-making process. It's like he's been standing on the sideline thinking right along with Wade Wilson. This offense really has improved since he's come in.
Randy Jordan in the backfield. Comes wide right, splits out. Ritchie is the only setback. Hollis back. Gets time, goes deep left side for Dudley, and they miscommunicate. Next weekend, CBS Sports to go third quarter. Here comes the blitz. Hollis flips it out, caught by Jordan. Stiff arm and out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Mark McMillan makes the tackle.
And for the Raiders' sake, it's good that Donald Hollis is making these quick decisions, because the Kansas City defense and guys like Mark McMillan are just attacking the Raider offense and making the quarterback make those quick decisions. And it's a great idea with a quarterback you know is hobbled, a quarterback you know has had some interception problems in the past. You're better off trying to make him make those quick decisions.
For the day in relief of Wade Wilson, Donald Hollis now 4 of 6. 3rd and 8. Here comes the blitz. He can't get there. Fumble. O'Neal is picked up, and the chase is on. Derek Thomas will score. That's a point. That is the first defensive touchdown registered by the Kansas City Chiefs in 1998. Until that O'Neal strip and the Thomas fumble, the best they could do defensively. Pro Derek Thomas has had a very difficult season after a magnificent start week 1 when he had 6 sacks against this team. He's come on with a sack and now a fumble recovery, return for the touchdown, 42 yards. Derek Thomas. Donald Hollis was stripped as he rolled left, hobbled by a bad groin. Leslie O'Neal got to him.
It's all set up with that defense knowing you got to sit and duck and taking advantage of it.
Stoyanovich. Desmond Howard. Tackle made at the 27-yard line. Now Jeff George last saw action against Washington November 29th. We did not expect to see him, but we do.
And he's in the ball game simply because John Gruden knows Donald Hollis is a sitting duck. He's got to bring a quarterback in that at least can move around a little bit, and he's got another quarterback with a bad groin.
Injured, serious groin pull October the 4th in Arizona. Tried to come back, didn't. Donald Hollis also with a groin pull. Wade Wilson also with a groin pull.
Well, you know the guy with the old pull can move better than the guy with the 2 new ones.
First down and 10. And the clock stopped now. There's a conference going on the Raiders sideline at the 35-yard line. John Gruden, the 35-year-old head coach, completing his first season as the boss of the Raiders. There's the handoff. Well, remember that celebrated confrontation, June Jones, Jeff George in Atlanta that led to his release and being sent here? Donald Hollis, after the fumble, when he was hit by Leslie O'Neal, walked past John Gruden. This is a moment ago, and here's the conversation. Lip readers know exactly what he said. Gruden looks over his shoulder, and Hollis is now on the bench. We saw Cordell Stewart, Bill Cowher get into it in Tampa a couple of weeks ago. Here's the flip. Jordan.
And I'll mention again what Jeff George being in the game means. He came into this game as the number 3 quarterback. So you put him in as a number 3 quarterback, you bought him, you own him. Rest of this day, he is your quarterback unless somebody else out there can run a fantasy camp if Jeff George goes down, because the other 2 guys can't come back in.
3rd and 12. Time call by the Kansas City Chiefs. They stop the clock with 6 seconds remaining. We are in Oakland, California. We near the end of the 3rd quarter in the final regular season game, Oakland and Kansas City. Hovering high above and looking very much like the world's largest box of Fujifilm. Fujifilm blimp piloted by Captains Mike Fitzpatrick and Jim Gross.
That sounds better than a gigantic bag of gas.
3rd and 12. This one, James Jett, number 82.
False start.
Before the snap, false start. Offense, number 81. 3rd down after a 5-yard penalty.
You got Jeff George in the ball game too. A lot of things come into play here now. You're talking about a new snap count, guy they haven't heard for 5-6 weeks. You're talking about the center has to anticipate the quarterback in a different way. The linemen hear him in a different way, and the receivers have to sort of drop back into his sync.
Quick setup and a quick release. And Terry Mickens makes his first catch of the day. And that might be enough for a first down.
We got a Chief down on the field, Mark McMillan, number 29, the cornerback.
That is the end of the third quarter with McMillan down. Our score 24-17 Kansas City.
McMillan gets a shoulder in on the tackle, or tries to make the tackle on Mickens, falls down, and then Donnie Edwards piles down on top of him. But he's up and he's walked off the field and he's fine.
McMillan on the bench, and in the meantime, that was a 17-yard gain on 3rd and 16. So as we start the fourth quarter, final regular season game for both ball clubs, the Oakland Raiders have a 1st down and 10.
Well, you know you got a Jeff George back there, and you're one of the offensive linemen for the Oakland Raiders. You also better darn well know they can't hit him. They can't sack Jeff George. They can't force his quarterback out, so that puts a premium on the tackles. Specifically Lincoln Kennedy and Mo Collins over on the left side, because we've seen Leslie O'Neal get a big hit that caused a fumble on Hollis. We've seen Derek Thomas come off the other side and make some big plays. So the premium right now is on protection for the Raiders. If they're down by 7, they got to throw the ball.
Robert Williams on in place of Mark McMillan. Dale Carter, as we told you, is on the inactive list today. And Jeff George in at quarterback. There's Williams. And Mark McMillan is back on the field.
Hey, Mark McMillan's one of the smallest guys, if not the smallest guy in the NFL. And for his size, one of the first things that always comes out of most people's mouths is his toughness when you ask him about Mark McMillan.
5'7", 154. Here's George back. Deep left side. Almost picked off by Jerome Woods. It was intended for James Jett.
Well, Jerome Woods, you see his hand right there. He's working with, he's got pins and screws in his hand. That's why he's wearing a little brace-looking thing and some pad on top of that right hand. So naturally, you'd say, well, how can a guy not catch a ball like that right in his hands? So I guess what we ought to say is, how can a guy not catch a ball like that with his hand? Because there's no way with that pad and the pins and everything else in that hand that he can close around the ball well enough.
2nd and 10. There's the toss. Jordan goes right. Ritchie helping to supply the blocks, and Jerome Woods cuts through the support and makes the tackle. And Randy Jordan gets into the spirit of things and starts jawing with the Kansas City bench.
But that's a play the Raiders just put in a couple weeks ago. That's a page out of Mike Shanahan's book and Terrell Davis's book in Denver. You see Jordan's got about 2 yards of crack right there, but that's the quick toss. That's just get a short side of the field and yank that thing out there and let Jordan use his speed.
3rd and 8, Oakland at their own 40, trailing by 7. Oops.
Ball start on the offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Did you hear before the snap? You're hearing red 88, red 88, and suddenly you hear a black 89. And as soon as you heard that black, Mo Collins jumped. See that? As soon as he changed colors on Mo Collins, he flinched and went because he was expecting the next thing to be the snap of the ball.
3rd down. George back. Tim Brown. Fumble. Scramble. And it appears the Raiders get a fortunate bounce. Yes, they do.
James Jett comes up with that ball off that fumble. We talked about earlier how when you got Tim Brown working as wide receiver, if you can't get him down the field, let him get air around him. Let him be a punt returner. Positive play. Oops. Negative play. Good timing by James Jett being there to pick that ball up because Ron George caused that fumble. See George come in, knock the ball out of Brown's hand. Look at James Jett just right there. Almost let it get away.
28-yard gain and a 1st down. Randy Jordan, nothing doing as he's hit initially by Ty Parton, number 97. Well, next Sunday, the NFL on CBS will
playoff right now. I think you don't want to mess with if you're a good team is Buffalo. Buffalo, I think, is the most dangerous team in the AFC.
Second down and 10. George fires it deep for Brown. Contact. No play. Brown and McMillan bumped at the 5.
Well, I think what you have to keep in mind on this one is, was there contact? Heck yeah, there was contact. Was the ball catchable regardless of the contact, and when does it occur? Here comes McMillan. He's closing. There's the ball. I don't think Tim Brown would have had a chance in the world of getting that ball regardless of the contact. That ball is well over his head, and the contact comes about the same time the ball passed over his head. There's nothing wrong with that. The Raider fans don't like it, but that's good defense.
Backs are split on 3rd and 10. Harvey Williams back, and here comes another flag. This one is the game clock.
Offense, 5 yards, 3rd down.
Another sign of a rusty quarterback, and a quarterback that's not used to being in the ball game. We've already seen him sort of change his mind on an audible, change colors on his offensive lineman, and the lineman jump. And now this whole process of getting in the play, getting to the line, getting the play out, getting your formation set. If you're not used to it, it takes a lot more time than you think.
Tim Brown has caught 8 for 108 yards. He is split wide right. Mickens in the slot, and Jet to the left side, and a timeout called. That's the first used by the Raiders. 3rd and 15 when we come back. A moment ago on the Kansas City sideline.
Yeah, meaningless game, huh? Doesn't mean anything. Try to explain that to Williams, 46, getting a little hands-on coaching from Marty Schottenheimer.
3rd and 15, back split behind Jeff George. Chiefs bring 4. George finds John Ritchie as a safety valve, and he's down at the 36-yard line. The tackle made by Donnie Edwards. And it will be 4th down.
It's very important here, Vern, as Leo Araguz gets ready to punt this ball, that he puts the ball out inside the 10-yard line and puts Kansas City backed up. They're down by 7 points. They need to start creating a field advantage to their field advantage to them. Don't kick us in the end zone. Huge mistake, this touchback.
That one's a little too... No, it's not. Wow. Obviously, I thought for a moment it was going in the end zone. Turns out to be a terrific punt by Leo Araguz. 34 yards on the punt. Down at the 1. Debris being thrown onto the field by the folks in the end zone.
See that stuff? That is a bottle. Boy, is that ignorant. The other side might be the loud side, but now we know which side is the stupid side here in Oakland.
Well, my thoughts immediately go back to Minnesota. Here's Mike Carey.
From the stands to the field, we will switch into the field. First down.
1975, Minnesota-Dallas at the Met in Minnesota, the wild card playoff game. And some idiot threw a bottle out of the stands and hit Armin Terzian in the head and knocked him unconscious. That's serious stuff. Play fake, Gerbach pulls up and lets it go, and it is tipped and incomplete. Intended for Gonzalez.
What a nice play by Albert Lewis. Elvis Gerbach does a good job of escaping and evading the problems. Look, he's getting pressure. He's got to get out of the pocket. He does everything he can. Now watch Albert Lewis. Look at the close, and the left hand gets in there and knocks that ball away. Left hand, not on me, Albert Lewis says.
16 years in the league, probably his last game. Nice job defensively They stopped Tony Richardson. And let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Vern, given that this is probably, as you said, Albert Lewis's final NFL game, I asked him what the ideal way to close out his playing career would be. He said, I'd like to have 3 interceptions, all returned for touchdowns. I'd like all my linebackers and linemen to make their tackles, and of course, I'd like us to win. And if he gets that win, this would be Lewis's first winning season with the Raiders, Vern.
All right, Michelle. And his team looks at Elvis Gerbach now, 3rd down. Threw it away. And he had a tight end open at the 12-yard line.
I tell you, he just couldn't hold it any longer. But perfect example as to why Leo Araguz's punt was so important to be down in this area. Look at the Raider defense from Elvis's angle. You got covered to your right, covered to your left, covered in the middle. Might as well hit the guy with the water bottle.
Aggie yard to punt, 4th time today. Desmond Howard camped at the 46-yard line. Howard goes back to his right, catches it over the shoulder at the 43. Knocked out of bounds at the 46-yard line. The tackle is made by Eric Warfield, number 44. 54-yard punt. Desmond Howard has a few words. 24-17 Chiefs lead after that 54-yard punt and a 12-yard Desmond Howard return. Oakland takes over with the force at the 46. Randy Jordan in the backfield. John Ritchie. Here's a play fake. Jeff George drills it deep. Derek Brown, the tight end. There's a flag at the 40. Mike Carey.
Personal foul, face mask, 15 yards, defense, number 54. Automatic.
Kansas City Chiefs have now tied the National Football League record for number of penalties in a single season.
Remember earlier it was Dudley getting his face mask grabbed? Right there, Greg Favors, 54, grabs him by the face mask and pulls him down. And another defensive penalty for the Kansas City Chiefs.
1st and goal, Jeff George with Tim Brown running behind him. Trying to come left, Randy Jordan caught behind the line and driven backwards. And Chester McLaughlin leads the defensive charge.
Well, McLaughlin and that defense, you don't know they're going to get a little bit of run when you get in this part of the field, but you've got Jeff George at quarterback for the Raiders, and you can say a lot of things about Jeff George. You can say he acts like a jerk sometimes, and you'd be absolutely right. And you could say he's got a bad image, and you'd be absolutely right. And you could say maybe he shouldn't be back here next year, salary or not, and you'd be absolutely right. But don't you ever doubt this guy's arm, and he showed you his arm on that last pass.
2nd down. Lets it go into the end zone. James Jett. Mark McMillan claims there was a push-off.
There was a push-off. James Jett just got away with robbery. And I just told you about Jeff George's arm. Look at the angle on this pass going to James Jett. McMillan holding Jett early, but Jett gives that little push with the left arm to cause that separation. But Jeff George threw that ball behind the back of his receiver. The short underthrow we've seen so many quarterbacks use this year.
Greg Davis on for the tie. 3:17 to go in regulation. Mark Vanover waits for Greg Davis's kick. Spilled at the 24-yard line. Travian Smith.
One more look at this James Jett touchdown working against Mark McMillan. Watch at the end, though, as they cross the goal line. See the early tug by McMillan and the pull down? And James Jett doesn't interfere as much as he's sort of what I would refer to as it was a momentum augmenter. Sort of helped him keep going. And that's pretty close to taunting, slamming a ball like that right in front of the guy you got.
They use those in drag racing, don't they? Those momentum augmenters?
Yeah, they're called gas pedals.
Yeah. 1st and 10. Gerbach. Left side, Anders. Down at the 24. Grady Jackson, Lance Johnstone with the tackle. Oakland, California, 2nd down and 9. Chiefs and Raiders having at it for the 80th time. And we're tied at 24 across the middle to the 31-yard line. Kimball Anders.
You know, when you think about it, Vern, all this momentum, that last touchdown, and all the positive things that are going for Oakland and against Kansas City were all set up by that Leo Aragouz punt. Getting that ball down inside the 5, backing Elvis Gerbach and this offense up, and then setting their offense up with good field position. Elvis Gerbach and this offense's point is try not to get in that same position again. Bang things out here and get a sustained drive going.
Chiefs only 2 of 10. They have a 3rd and 2 here. The blitz coming. Gerbach fires it, caught. 1st down at the 45, maybe the 46 by Kevin Lockett. Number 81.
Well, here's a young receiver that this Kansas City organization has just been bubbly about since last year when he came from Kansas State. Because they talk about his speed and they talk about his quickness and what a great receiver he can be. Hasn't contributed much here in his first 2 years in the league, but you know, here's a guy at 6 foot 188 that can flat burn people along the lines of a James Jett, that kind of speed.
Raider defense has proven itself difficult in the 4th quarter. There's a fake reverse to Alexander. Gerbach goes deep for Anders. Flies down the sideline. He got behind Richard Harvey.
Just a nice job. We talked earlier about that pass that Albert Lewis knocked away on the last drive for Kansas City that Gerbach did a nice job of creating. He got pressure and he moved out on that play. More pressure, more movement, and another chance for creating something. And he creates a little bit more time and gets the ball down the field for Marty Schottenheimer's offense.
Kimball Anders came in with 53 grabs in the season. He has 8 catches today for an even 50 yards. The last good for a gain of 24. Gerbach chased, flag is down, pass thrown away. James Harris with the pressure.
A flag comes in from deep middle. It usually means some sort of defensive holding. Elvis thinks so.
Holding. Defense number 57. 5 yards. Automatic. 1st down.
That's got to drive Willie Shaw nuts because his defense had an opportunity to come out here and sort of snuff things out and keep that momentum going for his football team. But Elvis Gerbach and this offense have found a way to make some plays. It's not been a very consistent performance by this Kansas City offense against Willie Shaw's defense. But on this drive, Elvis has found a way to come back and make something happen.
Van Morris gets to the 20-yard line. Tackle made by Terry Wooden, a gain of 5. And the clock at 6.5 minutes. Well, Kansas City won the first 28-8. They ultimately went to a 4-1 record, then went to New England and they got hammered 40-10. That began a streak in which they lost 6 in a row. and the season went south on them. The culmination of it was that Monday night fiasco against the Denver Broncos. They came back and defeated Dallas, but then lost to the Giants last week, and trying to end the season on an up note. Here's Gerbach across the middle. Gonzalez to the 5. Gonzalez touchdown. Stoyanovich for the extra point. Tony Gonzalez gets his second touchdown catch of 1998. Marty Schottenheimer saying to Michelle Tafoya on the pregame show, the last game you play is the one you remember until the first game of '99. I want this to be a positive memory. This team leads it by 7.
Oh, this is way, way, way from over, though. The way these two offenses are starting to play now against these defenses.
Here's Howard. Oh, boy! He was popped by Minuski.
Well, just like we mentioned earlier with Bam Morris going in the air down by the goal line, that not very many good things happen to a runner when you're off your feet and you're off the ground. You got a guy like this who's made a living for 10, 11 years splattering people. Don't leave your feet. And that's why.
Jeff George, as Minuski celebrates his special teams play. Jeff George and the Raiders now trailing again 31-24. Deep left side, Tim Brown has the ball, and he is out of bounds to stop the clock at the 48-yard line.
Hey, talk about dotting the I. Remember earlier the catch by Derek Alexander where he caught it, the first foot got down, then the second foot didn't? Watch the feet of Tim Brown here on this pass from Jeff George. 1, 2, 3. He gets 3 steps down in about a yard area. That's just quality wide receiver work.
Tim Brown now 5 yards short of 1,000 yards receiving for the season. That one goes through the hands of Ricky Dudley. Ty Parton got deep.
Arms got a little short on him, didn't they? Not a bunch. I mean, he's a big physical tight end. So, I mean, I'm not going to accuse him of short arming it, but the extenders didn't quite engage. See, the ball gets out on his hands. The arms never get unbent. Jeff George knows he laid it in the right place, and I've said it before, don't doubt this guy's arm. You might doubt his head, but don't doubt his arm.
There were noises from swamp creatures there. 2nd down and 10. Quick delivery. That one's incomplete.
Another example of Jeff George's arm and the fact there's not too many spots he doesn't think he can't put a ball.
Terry Mickens, the intended receiver.
I mean, the window that isn't, because there isn't much room. He's trying to force this ball in. McMillan there on the defense. Donnie Edwards coming in from the inside. That's good, strong defense by Mark McMillan.
3rd and 10. Blitz. George buried. Derek Thomas had 2. Derek Thomas began the 1998 season sacking Jeff George 6 times. He gets him for the first time this afternoon, but he had a previous sack on Wade Wilson.
Before the last drive, I mentioned the fact that the offense...
Aragoose with the punt. Vanover. Flag is down at the 30-yard line.
It's going to be holding.
34, 10 yards, 4th down.
Jermaine Williams.
Remember, too, we talked about those hidden yards, Vern. Didn't much work in the disadvantage of the Oakland Raiders that time before, but this time, where was the ball going to be, and where will the ball end up now because they have to re-kick this ball?
19 penalties in the game.
Just a little over the average. These two teams get together, and it was just a tick underneath 18 penalties.
Aragoose will punt it again. Vanover moves up to the 31-yard line. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. Nice high punt. And Vanover has it at the 20. out to the 31-yard line. 4:40 to go. Raiders will try and work on the clock. Bam Morris manages to stay inbounds to keep the clock running at the 36-yard line. That's a gain of 5. Lance Johnstone, Greg Biekert make the tackle.
Yeah, that was a very smart play by Bam Morris. A lot of running backs won't really think in that situation. Will just sort of lower their head and bang people and go out of bounds. A smart idea by Bam Morris, just physically saying, put on the brakes to the right. Let's cut back inside. Let's keep it in and keep the clock going.
And the clock nearing the 4-minute mark now. 2nd down and 5. Chased by Albert Lewis. The former chief gets the current chief. Bam Morris with a 39-yard run.
And Bam Morris stays in bounds. The best part of the effort and the end of this run is the fact that he stays in bounds. The best part of the early effort, Glenn Parker, nice block. Criswell, Will Shields, good trap block. Bam Morris wide open. Now watch this. Will he go out? He fights physically to keep his body inbounds, so the clock will keep running.
The ground game has been a problem for the Chiefs this year, and Bam Morris's 39-yard run is the longest of the season. Here's Kimball Anders, who is cut down as he gets inside the 20.
Well, you know, Bam Morris is custom made for this type of situation for Marty Schottenheimer in this offense. You've got a lead of 7 points. The clock is under 3 minutes, and you've got a 250, 255-pound guy running. Now, no mystery to it. You just eat the clock up with a running back, but Bam Morris isn't going to be in the game.
Bam Morris gets a rest. The ball at the 19. 2:35 to go. 2 touchdowns and a field goal. The previous 3 trips inside the 20. Kimball Anders up the middle. Tackle made by James Harris and Russell Maryland. Time is called. Coming up tomorrow, we conclude the team. And the essence of his remarks, hey, loosen up, guys. You know, we've got to get back to enjoying this game. It was almost as if when they lost to New York, a lance was boiled. And now the concern has started after their loss to Miami. Battle for the ball, and the Raiders get it.
The far official was pointing to the ground.
All right, we're going to have a conference. Greg Biekert, here's Marty Schottenheimer.
Yeah, that's it. The whistle was blown and the hand was pointing to the ground. Marty saying there was a whistle blown, the play was dead.
John Gruden asking a question.
A very simple question here on the sidelines in this conference is basically, was the whistle blown and at what point was it blown? But I heard whistles well before the Raiders came out of there with a football. I mean, Darrell Russell's the Raider that eventually came out of that pile with a football, but remember, these Chiefs have beat the Raiders 16 of the last 18 times they've gotten together. Away, says I put about as much in as I can put in.
Yeah, if it was charades, there's no question we'd have the clue from Marty. Meanwhile, the conference continues. Here's Mike Carey.
Covered by Oakland. First down.
I think I've got to agree with Marty as far as what are the whistles for. Listen to this. That was the whistle. One more time. Look at Riddick. Van Morris coming in. Ball is coming out. Good call. Took long enough, but good call.
Here's Jeff George. Hauled down. Incomplete pass. Chester McLaughlin got there. 2:01 to go in regulation. Schottenheimer claiming a whistle had blown, and honestly, in the replay, the natural sound, the ambient crowd noise was so loud it was difficult to determine whether or not whistles had blown.
When that play happened, I mean, it was definitely a fumble, which I didn't think it was naturally seeing it the first time. But when that play happened, I heard a whistle.
Here's George. There's Mickens. First down at the 32-yard line. 19-yard gain. Reggie Tongue makes the tackle. We have reached the 2-minute warning. Kansas City leads it by 7. 31-24, 2 minutes to go, fourth quarter. Raiders have a first down at the 33-yard line. They do have one timeout left. Fumble ruled at the 14-yard line. Bam Morris. Albert Lewis, probably his final game. First and 10. And during the break, Marty Schottenheimer chatting ever so amiably with the officiating crew. Blitz. George lets it go. Bounces at the 40, and surprise, surprise, another flag.
This is going to be against Marty's defense. It's going to be holding, I think, against the Kansas City defense.
Holding. Defense, number 29. 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Call that holding penalty on Mark McMillan. There he is at the top of the screen. Working against James Jett. Watch the hands. Yank. When you fold the 2 over the 8 on a guy wearing 82, that means holding.
The Kansas City Chiefs have a rather ignominious spot in the record book. 157 penalties, a single season record. Here's George, right side. Tim Brown has now gone over 1,000 yards in receptions again. 17 on that game.
These Raiders are trying to answer a Kansas City football team that's really found a way to do about everything right in this second half. Kansas City has outscored the Raiders coming into this game 171-79 in the fourth quarter. In these games, they've won 16 out of 18 of. They did it this game, but Raiders are trying to find a way to come back at 7 points down.
Jeff George looks left, incomplete. Well, coming up tonight on CBS.
We've got a lot of respect for his arm.
Second down and 10, 31-24.
Chester McLaughlin jumping on the Jeff George bark.
Trying to make sure that record is secure. Most penalties.
Encroachment. Defense, number 75. 5 yards. Second down.
And here's why we refer to it as a bark by the quarterback.
Second down and 5 at the 40. Lot of time for George, deep in the middle. Incomplete. Jerome Woods defending, intended for James Jett. Third down.
What's really been the difference so far? Kansas City had better cover very well down the field because they're getting no pressure on Jeff George. Last series, they got a sack on Jeff George when Mo Collins was beat by Derek Thomas, but down the field is where they're going to have to win this game defensively to keep the Raiders from tying this ball game up, because Jeff George is able to stand back there. When you got an arm like Jeff George, there's no safe part of the field to hide in.
3rd and 5. Comes the blitz. Reggie Tongue got to Jeff George about the time he let it go.
Absolutely. Boy, I love that. You're making the quarterback sit and look. Sit and look. Not getting the pressure. Now you bring it from the backside with Reggie Tongues, not 25. See the way his arms are coming around at the very end towards the tackle? If Jeff George holds on to that ball, Reggie Tongues' idea is to strip it away.
4th and 5. Back split behind Jeff George. Now George backed out without the ball.
He faked himself out. And Barrett Robbins, his center, number 63, wasn't giving it up. You haven't said the right word, I'm not moving it.
Ball start, offense. Number 3, 5 yards, 4th down.
You get the bark, you get departure, you make a statue out of the center, Barrett Robbins, because he's not moving. Ron George is blitzing. You got Chester coming after him. You got Derek Thomas coming after him. The guy still hasn't moved with the ball.
We've got enough cloth on the ground today to make a nice size quilt. 4th and 10. Left side. The ball goes over on downs.
Intended for Terry Mickens.
Intended for Mickens. Robert Williams was defending.
And Mickens never really had a shot as he was coming out of his break. Two things meant he didn't have a shot. The first thing that meant he didn't have a shot is he slips. And when you slip on a timing pattern, it's going to be incomplete. The second thing that meant he didn't have a shot, he was about 4 yards short of the first down marker, even when he slipped if he'd have caught that ball.
Raiders can stop the ball just one more time. Marty Schottenheimer preaching to his team the impact of a game like this in terms of a memory it would give them for the offseason. Kind of a positive taste after a bitter season.
Well, I've been through some of these bad years, and it makes a huge difference that last play, that last game of the year if you win.
Van Morris, first down to the 41-yard line. Gain of 15.
You talked about preaching, though. You don't think Marty was doing a little preaching about holding on to that ball by Van Morris and these running backs.
And it would appear now with time running down, Randy, that Kansas City's going to extend their dominance over the Raiders, 17 out of the last 19.
And they've done it with the second half. That's the way they've been able to kill the Raiders all these years. This decade of the 90s, they've dominated the second half. They scored 24 points in the second half just because I think their offense and defense really came into play the second 30 minutes of the ball game.
Now the final 40 seconds tipped down. The executive producer of CBS Sports, Terry Ewert. Today's game produced by Lance Barrow, directed by Mike Arnold. The coordinating director of the NFL on CBS, Larry Cavallina. Our associate director of today's game, two of them, Andy Goldberg and Brian Lilly. The broadcast associates, Tom Coppola and Peter H. Smith. Thanks to Chris Helen, the spotter, and Chuck Gardner, the statistician, for nice work all season long. And this one winds up 31-24, assuming that there is no turnover here in the final 34 seconds.
And it leaves John Gruden's Oakland Raider football team at 8-8 for the year, and Marty Schottenheimer's finished at 7-9. And for the first time since 1990, the Oakland Raiders finish in front of the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC West standings.
Michelle DeFoy asked John Gruden what he had learned in his first year as a head coach. And he said, I've learned that you need to coach every player on your roster because you never know when injuries dictate the use of someone at the midseason point.
It shouldn't be lost in this loss in the last game of the year and the fact they're finishing 8-8 that this is a football team in Oakland that was 4-12 last year and was in complete disarray when John Gruden was hired by Al Davis. This young guy is going to make a huge difference for this franchise down the road. He is a high-quality football coach.
Kansas City wins it. They finished the 1998 season with a 7-9 mark. And John Gruden's Oakland Raiders, one time 7-3, had a 4-game losing streak. They lose their final game and they wind up at the 500 mark, 8-8. And for Albert Lewis, 11 seasons with the Kansas City Chiefs, the last 5 as a member of the Oakland Raiders, and an affectionate goodbye to his former coach, Marty Schottenheimer.